Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models, and this is a quick updates and modifications video for the Terminator build, the T800 part work from Hachette. Now, the problem we've had, the most recent problem, has been these side muscles. They're all connected up and that's not right. I don't like that. That's too loose and floppy and everything else. So I've had a look around the internet and found a couple of different modifications that people have been able to come up with, and I've sort of adapted and modified one to use materials I've got at hand to make it look like that, which is just better. It still obviously works for all the, you know, the moving in and out of the adjustments as you need it, but it doesn't look like that rubbish floppy horrible bit. There may be a modification coming for it in the part work, but to be honest I doubt it. The way they've got us to assemble it, it's all sort of done and dusted, and yeah. So let me clear things out the way and I'll show you just what the modification entails. I've got to get this partially apart to do that, so let's just pop that end out, and then conveniently the tube comes out. The real problem is that the tube is a little bit thinner than the hole that it goes into, so it obviously goes in properly, but as you can see there's quite a lot of play around there. So let me show you what we've been able to come up with and how it works. Right, what I have, people have said to use the tube from a paintbrush. They say a Series 7 fits perfectly. I haven't got one of those to hand, but I have got one from a Citadel, I can't remember what type of brush it is, but it's a pretty good fit. That would be an ideal tube width. It's got a little bit of play there, but enough that it moves in and out and goes fine, but it's a little bit too thick. So what I've done, what I shall do again, is basically cut off a thin washer. That's all you need. You don't need very much. This is probably 4 or 5 mil thick. That's all you need it to be. So that's all you need. Keep the rest of it. You might need it for another bit later. What I then did was actually cut a small chunk off of the end of this to make it fit a little bit tighter. So it's actually a smaller tube than you need it to be. So when it goes around there, it doesn't quite match up, doesn't quite join up, but it gives enough support around the edge. Now, I've also had to thin this down a little bit. So what I've actually just been using is a thick sanding block, sanding sponge, and just taken the edge off a little bit. Now this also gives you the benefit of giving a slightly rougher surface, which makes it a little bit nicer for the grip on the tube as it's going in and out, as it might or might not be moved at some point throughout the build. Let's get rid of that bit. I don't need that bit either. So just sand it down a bit to get rid of sort of rough edges and make it all just that little bit thinner. I might need to sand it down a touch more. I'm going to sand the inside a little bit as well, again just for sort of friction. Now you can obviously use any other sanding paper, sanding block, anything you need to, anything you've got to hand basically that's going to give the same effect. So that there will fit around there and slide in and out. Now you can't obviously attach it to this bit because that needs to slide, so you need to get the whole monster body back again, and it's going to fit just on the inside of this tube. So it's going to go just about there. You've got obviously this depth here to play around with, so you've got quite a lot of leeway. So what I did, and what I am going to do again, is a little bit of super glue. I've opened a new glue. The old one was almost empty and it wasn't coming out. I can't be sitting around too long waiting for it to dribble out the end. Even with a new one, it takes a minute for it. There you go. So I've just put a couple of dobs of glue around the outside there, making sure I get in the ends and in the middle somewhere. There we go. And then that, as long as you haven't stuck it to your finger, you can just tuck inside there. There we go. And get it down sort of flush, or just under, just even inside a little bit, just so it's in there and you've not got any excess glue around the edge. Leave that to dry and set, and then you'll be back to how I am with the other side. Let's show you that. So it moves in and out. It's a little bit stiff, which is fine because it's not going to be moving around very much. So that moves around in there, and I say works better than stock. That's all I'm ever going for with these things, just to improve it enough that it is better than it was. So that still works, obviously, in and out like a piston, and that one will do exactly the same once you've given that just a few minutes to dry, and then I can obviously get that in there and attached up again. That's it. That's all. That's done. I'm not going to bother showing you it assembled and working because it's going to look exactly like that one. I don't think there's any other modifications sort of lined up to do at the moment. There's weathering and stuff to be done, but for now, that's that. What I am going to do, I've decided, I'm going to take the other arm off. There's no need to have the arm attached while we're trying to do other things. The right arm is finished. It's all up and running and working. So I'm going to disconnect that and then not have it to move around while we're trying to build the rest of it. Obviously, whatever you want to do is your own lookout, but I figure it's less likely to get damaged by moving it all around and having to shift it around. So I'm going to remove the right arm, so next time you see it on one of the build videos, it will be purely the torso. So that's that. Thanks for watching. I shall see you soon with more regular build stuff, and I hope you're following along and enjoying the build. And let me know if you're doing the modification, if there's any other modifications you think are worth doing. Give me a shout. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.